You're watching South Asia Newsline, and here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Thursday, the 6th of July. India reacts after Canadian PM refutes claim he is soft on Khalistani elements. PM Dahal's remarks on India stir up storm in Nepal. And Buddhists in India celebrate Dalai Lama's 88th birthday. And now for all the details. India's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Arindam Bagchi on Thursday, reacting to Canadian PM Justin Trudeau's remarks over the Khalistan issue, said that freedom of expression cannot be misused to advocate extremism and separatism. Trudeau, talking to a local broadcaster, had refuted the claim of being soft on Khalistani elements and had said while Canada believes in freedom of expression, his government will not allow terrorism and violence. Recalling Indian Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar's comments, Bagchi said countries should avoid pandering over vote bank politics over the Khalistan issue. The remarks from the Canadian PM came after India launched a protest with his government over threats issued by Khalistan sympathizers against top Indian diplomats in Canada.
We have seen some comments, at least the media reports about comments by Prime Minister Trudeau. But let me make the larger point that the issue is not about freedom of expression, but its misuse for advocating violence, for propagating separatism, and for legitimizing terrorism. So that's actually what we would like to, emphasize.
And ahead of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to France, diplomatic advisor to French President Emmanuel Bonne met India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval in New Delhi on Thursday. Both officials held in-depth discussion to make the final preparations for PM Modi's visit later next week. The Indian Prime Minister is scheduled to attend Bastille Day parade as the guest of honor on July 14th on the invitation of French President Emmanuel Macron. Both leaders will also hold discussions to boost cooperation in defense, energy and space sector. Well, heavy monsoon rains, which is expected to last for several days, hit Pakistan's Lahore on Wednesday, flooding streets and several residential parts of the city. Local media reported at least 7 people were also killed in rain-related incidents in Lahore. Punjab Chief Minister Mohsin Naqvi said the record-breaking 272 millimeters of rain for over 9 hours caused urban flooding. The country's monsoon season usually begins in the first week of July, lasting until mid-September. Large swaths of South Asian country were submerged last year due to extremely heavy monsoon rains and melting glaciers, a phenomenon linked to climate change.
निकासी का निज़ाम बहुत गलत है। यहाँ देखें ना, मोटरें चलती नहीं है, मोटरों के साथ पानी निकलता है, थोड़ी सी बारिश होती है, गटरों से पानी बाहर आ जाता है। ये भी देखें ना, गटरों से पानी बाहर आते हैं तो फिर आवाम का गुजरना बसरना बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है। लिहाजा इसके हमें चाहिए कि यहाँ मोटरों का निज़ाम अच्छा हो, मोटरें जो मर्जी ख़राब हो जाती है, गटरों से पानी बाहर आ जाता है।
And Taliban's acting Interior Minister Sirajuddin Haqqani has said that the reason for the lack of recognition of the Islamic Emirate is Kabul's refusal to accept the world's orders. The remarks came during an event in Paktia, Tolo News reported. Meanwhile, the UN Deputy Special Representative for Afghanistan, Marcus Potzel, on Wednesday again reiterated that Kabul could be integrated into the international community if the issue of female education and their work for NGOs and UN organizations is resolved. Potzel asked the Taliban to revoke the restrictions on women as soon as possible. Otherwise, there will always be a shadow on its ties with the international community. Taliban authorities say they respect women's rights in accordance with their strict interpretation of Islamic law. And Sri Lanka's central bank on Thursday cut its key interest rates for the second consecutive month as inflation tapered after last year's devastating economic crisis and as the focus has returned to reviving economic growth following a bailout from the IMF. The standing deposit facility rate and standing lending facility rate have been cut to 11% and 12% respectively. The island nation plunged into crisis last year as its foreign exchange reserves ran out and food and energy prices spiraled. President Ranil Wickremesinghe took the reins in July last year and negotiated a $2.9 billion bailout from the IMF this March. Its once soaring inflation has now dipped to about 12%.
And this is a key.
Nepal PM Pushpa Dahal's remarks that an Indian businessman settled in Nepal put in a word for him in Delhi to have him appointed as the Prime Minister has led to a controversy. Dahal reportedly made the remarks during the launch of a book on the life of Pritam Singh, a pioneer trucking entrepreneur in Nepal. The united opposition on Wednesday created a ruckus in the parliament and demanded Dahal's resignation, accusing that he had lowered the dignity of the country. Opposition leaders said that a Prime Minister appointed by New Delhi does not have the right to continue in the post. Dahal has, however, said that his remarks have been misinterpreted.
उहाँले भन्नुभयो, उहाँकै शब्द म कोट गर्दैछु जस्ताको तस्तै, उहाँ प्रितम सिंहले एक पटक मलाई प्रधानमन्त्री बनाउन धेरै मेहनत गर्नुभयो, धेरै चोटी दिल्ली जानु पनि भयो। नेपालको प्रधानमन्त्री बनाउन नेपाली जनतातिर फर्कने हो कि दिल्लीतिर जाने हो? नेपालको प्रधानमन्त्री बनाउन दिल्ली जानुपर्ने?
Buddhists across India marked the 88th birth anniversary of their spiritual leader, the Dalai Lama, on Thursday. Followers gathered in huge numbers in monasteries to pray for his long life. Buddhists and Tibetans in exile on Thursday celebrated the 88th birthday of their spiritual leader, the 14th Dalai Lama, in India's hill town of Dharamshala. The celebrations saw a variety of folk dance and music performances in the presence of Dalai Lama, who has lived mostly in Dharamshala after seeking an asylum in India following a rebellion against the Chinese rule in 1959. With age catching up, he, however, remains a symbol of Tibetan resistance against the Chinese rule in Tibet.
Many cakes, many tea, prayers, many prayers for his long life.
His Holiness is also here today?
Yes, His Holiness is granting us with his holy presence.
Similar scenes were witnessed in Shimla, where Buddhist monks offered special prayers for the long life of Dalai Lama and also cut a cake on the occasion. Born on July 6, 1935, the 14th Dalai Lama is one of the longest-serving lamas of the Tibetan tradition of Buddhism. He was also awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1989.
Today is his 88th birthday of His Holiness. So we are celebrating at the monastery, the lead by chairman of monastery, and all the cake cutting ceremony also done here. And we wishing long live Dalai Lama for all sentient beings.
Well, that's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow.